Spring Adventures, a tale of friendship, courage, and creativity. Once upon a time, in a small, enchanting village nestled among rolling green hills, lived a young man named Leo. The village was like a beautiful painting, filled with colorful houses, blooming flowers, and cheerful laughter echoing in the air. Leo was a curious boy, always exploring and dreaming of becoming wise like his grandfather, Grandpa Eli. Grandpa Eli was known throughout the village as the wisest storyteller. His long, silver beard and twinkling blue eyes made him look like a wizard from a fairy tale. Every evening, children would gather around his cozy cottage to hear the magical stories he told. But Leo wanted more than just stories. He wanted to know the secret to wisdom. One sunny afternoon, Leo stood by the garden gate, watching the villagers bustling about. He saw Mrs. Harper helping Mr. Jenkins carry his heavy basket and the children playing tag in the meadow. They all seemed so happy and wise in their own way. How can I become wise like Grandpa Eli, he wondered, his heart full of questions. With determination in his heart, Leo set off to visit his grandfather. He walked down the winding path that led to Grandpa Eli's cottage. Along the way, he picked some wildflowers, yellow daisies, and purple violets to bring to his grandfather. He will love these, Leo thought, imagining his grandfather's warm smile. As he approached the cottage, Leo could see the smoke curling up from the chimney. The door was slightly ajar, and the soft sounds of a flute drifted through the air. It was Grandpa Eli playing his favorite tune. Leo felt excitement bubble inside him as he gently knocked on the door. "Come in, my boy," called Grandpa Eli, his voice as warm as the sunlight streaming through the window. Leo entered the cottage and was greeted by the familiar sight of shelves lined with books, trinkets from his grandfather's adventures, and the cozy fire crackling in the hearth. Grandpa Eli sat in his favorite chair, a wooden rocking chair that creaked softly as he rocked back and forth. "Grandpa, I want to be wise like you," Leo said, his eyes shining with hope. "Can you teach me the secret?" Grandpa Eli leaned forward, a smile spreading across his face. My dear Leo, wisdom is a treasure that can be found in many places. But the first step is to listen more than you speak. You must learn from your mistakes and from the experiences of others." Leo furrowed his brow, thinking hard about what his grandfather had said. Listen more than I speak, but how will I learn if I don't share my thoughts? Grandpa Eli chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling like stars. My young friend, when you listen, you open the door to understanding. Every person you meet has a story to tell, and each story holds a lesson. If you fill your mind with words, there will be no room for the wisdom of others. Leo pondered this for a moment. He remembered times when he had been so excited to share his ideas that he hadn't truly listened to what others were saying. "So, I need to practice listening then?" he asked. "Exactly,"
Grandpa Eli replied.
"And remember, you must also learn from your mistakes. Life will teach you many things, but only if you take the time to reflect on your experiences. Each mistake is a stepping stone on the path to wisdom." Leo nodded, feeling inspired by his grandfather's words. "I want to learn everything you know, Gramp. Will you tell me stories about your experiences?"
Grandpa Eli's smile widened.
Of course. Stories are the heart of wisdom. They're filled with adventures, lessons, and the truths of life. Let me share with you some of the tales from my youth, each one a lesson waiting to be learned. The sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink as Grandpa Eli started his stories. His voice danced through the air, weaving magical tales of brave knights, clever animals, and wise elders who had faced challenges in their lives. Leo listened intently, captivated by each word, each twist and turn of the narrative. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Leo felt a warmth in his heart. He realized that listening to his grandfather was just the beginning of his journey toward wisdom. With each story, he felt himself growing, filled with knowledge and wonder. "Thank you, Grandpa," Leo said softly as the last story came to a close. "I will remember your words. I will listen and I will learn." Grandpa Eli chuckled and patted Leo on the shoulder. "And I will always be here to guide you, my dear boy. Wisdom is a journey, not a destination. Keep your heart open, and you will find it everywhere." That night, as Leo walked back home under the blanket of stars, he felt a sense of purpose. He would practice listening, learn from his mistakes, and share stories just like his grandfather. He knew that each day would bring new adventures, challenges, and lessons, and he was ready to embrace them all with open arms. And so, in a small village surrounded by lush green hills, Leo's journey toward wisdom had just begun. Part 2: The Power of Listening. The next morning, Leo woke up with the sun shining brightly through his window. The cheerful chirping of birds filled the air, and the scent of blooming flowers wafted in from the garden. As he stretched and yawned, Leo remembered the wonderful stories his grandfather had shared the night before. "Today, I will practice listening," he declared to himself, feeling a spark of excitement. After breakfast, Leo ventured outside, ready to explore the village with open ears and an eager heart. He wandered through the familiar streets, greeting his neighbors along the way. Each encounter felt different today. He was determined to truly listen to what people had to say. First, he came across Mrs. Harper, who was tending to her colorful flower garden. "Good morning, Mrs. Harper," Leo called out, kneeling beside her. "Your flowers look beautiful. How do you make them bloom so brightly?" Mrs. Harper looked up, her face lighting up with a smile. "Why, thank you, Leo. It takes patience and love. You see, each flower has its own needs. Some need more sun, while others thrive in shade. If you listen to what they want, they will flourish." Leo nodded, fascinated. "So, flowers can talk if we listen closely?" "Yes, indeed," she chuckled. "Nature has a language of its own. Just like people, if you pay attention, you can learn so much." Feeling inspired, Leo continued on his way, reflecting on Mrs. Harper's words. Next, he encountered Mr. Jenkins, the village baker. The delicious aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, making Leo's stomach rumble. "Good morning, Mr. Jenkins," Leo said, taking a deep breath of the delightful scent. "Your bread smells amazing. What's your secret?" Mr. Jenkins smiled, kneading the dough with strong hands. Young Leo, it's not just about the ingredients. It's about the care you put into it. Each loaf has a story. I listen to the dough as I work. It tells me when it's ready to rise, when to knead more, and when to bake." Leo's eyes widened in amazement. "The dough talks to you?" "Absolutely," Mr. Jenkins chuckled. "When you listen closely, you can create something wonderful. Just like in life, if you pay attention, you'll discover the beauty in everything." As Leo walked on, he thought about how listening was like opening a treasure chest of knowledge. Each person he spoke to was sharing their own special secrets. The morning felt magical, and Leo was excited to continue his journey of discovery. In the afternoon, Leo decided to visit his friend Mia. She was often quiet and shy, but today Leo wanted to know more about her. He knocked on her door, and to his delight, she greeted him with a smile. "Mia, would you like to play outside?" Leo asked. "I'd love that, but I have to finish my drawing first," she replied, glancing back at her easel, which was covered in beautiful, colorful artwork. "Your drawings are wonderful," Leo exclaimed, admiring the vibrant colors. "Can you tell me about them?" Mia's eyes sparkled, and she nodded enthusiastically. "Each drawing tells a story. This one," she said, pointing to a picture of a magical forest, is inspired by a dream I had about a fairy who helps lost animals find their way home. Leo listened intently as Mia described her dreams and ideas, her passion shining through her words. He realized that by listening, he not only learned about her art but also about her imagination and creativity. It felt wonderful to be part of her world. "Your drawings are like windows to your heart," Leo said, grinning. "I want to hear all your stories." They spent the afternoon playing and sharing stories, their laughter echoing through the garden. Leo felt a sense of joy in being able to connect with Mia on a deeper level. Listening had opened a door to a new friendship. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the village, Leo made his way back home. He felt lighter, filled with new insights and ideas. His heart was full, and he couldn't wait to share everything he had learned with Grandpa Eli. That evening, as Leo settled in by the fire with his grandfather, he excitedly recounted his day. "Grandpa, I practiced listening today, just like you said. I talked to Mrs. Harper, Mr. Jenkins, and Mia. Each of them had something special to share." Grandpa Eli leaned forward, his eyes twinkling with pride. "That's wonderful, Leo. What did you learn from them?" "I learned that flowers and dough can talk, but we need to listen closely to understand them," Leo replied, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "And Mia showed me how her drawings are stories waiting to be told." Grandpa Eli chuckled, stroking his beard thoughtfully. "You see, my dear boy, every person and everything has a story. When you listen, you not only learn from others but also build connections. You become part of a beautiful tapestry of experiences and wisdom." Feeling inspired, Leo asked, "Can you tell me more stories about the importance of listening, Grandpa? I want to learn everything." "Of course, my boy," Grandpa Eli said, settling back in his chair. "Let me tell you a story about a wise owl and the forest animals who learned the value of listening to one another." As Grandpa Eli began his tale, Leo listened intently, entranced by the words flowing from his grandfather's lips. He knew that every story was a lesson waiting to be discovered, and he was ready to absorb it all. And so, as the stars twinkled brightly in the night sky, Leo's journey continued. Each day was filled with new experiences and lessons, shaping him into the wise young man he aspired to be. The power of listening opened his heart and mind, revealing the magic that lay in the stories of those around him. With each story told, Leo grew a little wiser, knowing that the world was full of adventures waiting to unfold. And he was excited to embark on every single one of them. Part 3. The Young Man's Mistakes. The days turned into weeks, and Leo continued his quest for wisdom. He practiced listening to everyone he met, cherishing their stories and experiences. Each encounter taught him something new, and he felt like he was on the brink of understanding the world around him. But as the wise Grandpa Eli had said, wisdom often comes hand in hand with mistakes. One sunny afternoon, Leo decided to organize a friendly game of tag with his friends in the village square. His heart swelled with excitement as he thought about the laughter and fun they would share. As he ran around the square, calling out to everyone, he realized this was a perfect opportunity to put his listening skills into action. "Come on, everyone, let's play," Leo shouted, waving his arms enthusiastically. His friends gathered around, their faces bright with anticipation. There was Mia, of course, along with Tom, Sarah, and the energetic twins, Jake and Lily. They were all eager to join in the fun. "Okay, let's make the rules clear before we start," Leo said, trying to be responsible. "No pushing, and everyone gets a turn to be it." With that, they began the game, darting and dodging around the square. Leo felt the thrill of the chase as he tried to tag Mia, but in his excitement, he lost track of his surroundings. As he lunged toward her, he collided with Jake, who had just run past.
Whoa.
"Watch out," Jake exclaimed, stumbling backward. Leo quickly realized that he had knocked Jake to the ground. The fun atmosphere turned tense as Jake sat there, looking stunned. The laughter of the others faded, and Leo felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him. "I'm so sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to bump into you," Leo said, reaching out to help his friend up. Jake stood slowly, brushing the dirt off his knees. "It's okay, Leo. I guess I should have been more careful too, but it still hurt." Leo could see that Jake was upset. "I was just so focused on tagging Mia that I didn't pay attention to anyone else. I made a mistake," Leo admitted, feeling a knot in his stomach. "I should have listened to my surroundings better." As they resumed the game, Leo couldn't shake off the feeling of guilt. He had let his excitement get the better of him, and it affected his friend. After the game ended, Leo approached Jake, hoping to make amends. "Jake, can we talk for a second?" Leo asked, his voice sincere. "Sure," Jake replied, looking a little uncertain. "I really didn't mean to bump into you. I should have been more aware of my surroundings. I learned that I need to listen not just to my friends, but also to the environment around me," Leo said, his heart racing as he spoke. Jake smiled, his expression softening. "I appreciate that, Leo. It was just a mistake, and I'm okay. But next time, maybe we can all remind each other to watch where we're running." "Great idea," Leo exclaimed, feeling a sense of relief. "I'll remember to listen more carefully, not just to what everyone is saying, but to the world around me too." As they parted ways, Leo couldn't help but reflect on the incident. He realized that mistakes were a part of life, but what mattered was how he learned from them. With Grandpa Eli's advice in mind, he knew that listening was not just about words, it was also about paying attention to the actions and feelings of those around him. The following week, Leo encountered another situation where he could practice his listening skills. It was a rainy afternoon, and the sky was gray. The streets were empty, and the usually vibrant village felt quiet. Leo decided to visit Grandpa Eli, eager to share what he had learned. "Grandpa, I made a mistake during our game of tag, but I learned something important," Leo said as he entered the cozy cottage. Grandpa Eli looked up from his book, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "What happened, my dear boy?" Leo sat down beside his grandfather, excitement bubbling in his voice. "I got so caught up in the game that I didn't listen to my surroundings, and I accidentally bumped into Jake. I felt really bad, but we talked about it, and I realized that I need to pay attention to everything around me."
Grandpa Eli detto sottole.
That's a valuable lesson, Leo. Mistakes can be our greatest teachers if we allow them to guide us. Just then, a knock at the door interrupted their conversation. Leo jumped up to answer it and found Mia standing there, her hair damp from the rain.
Leo.
"I came to see if you wanted to draw together," she said, shivering slightly. "Of course. Come in, it's warm inside," Leo replied, inviting her in. "We were just talking about mistakes and listening." Mia's eyes widened with interest. "Mistakes? What do you mean?" Leo shared his experience with her, explaining how he had learned the importance of listening, not just to people, but to the world around him. "It made me realize that mistakes can lead to understanding," he finished, feeling proud of the lesson he had learned.
Mia smiled thoughtfully.
"I think that's a great lesson. Sometimes, when I'm drawing, I make mistakes too. But those mistakes can lead to new ideas. Like this one time, I accidentally splattered paint everywhere, and it turned into a beautiful abstract piece." "Really?" Leo exclaimed, intrigued. "I'd love to see that." As they settled down to draw together, Leo and Mia shared their thoughts and ideas, each encouraging the other to embrace their creative journeys. The rain pattered gently against the window, creating a cozy atmosphere as they laughed and enjoyed their art. Through this experience, Leo learned that mistakes weren't just moments of embarrassment, they were opportunities for growth and creativity. He began to appreciate that every stumble could lead to something beautiful, just like Mia's artwork. As the weeks went by, Leo found himself reflecting on his mistakes more often. He realized that each one taught him valuable lessons and helped him become more mindful. Whether he was playing games with friends or listening to stories from Grandpa Eli, he understood that growth often came from facing challenges head-on. One day, as he and Grandpa Eli walked through the village, Leo spotted a group of children gathered around an old oak tree. Curious, he approached them, noticing that they looked worried. "What's going on?" Leo asked, his voice filled with concern. "We're trying to get this kite unstuck from the branches," Sarah replied, pointing up at a bright red kite tangled in the tree's branches. "But we can't reach it." Leo looked at the kite, and then at his friends. "Let's work together. We can come up with a plan." As they brainstormed, Leo listened carefully to each suggestion. He realized that everyone had ideas that could help, and by combining their thoughts, they could come up with a better solution. After a few minutes of discussion, they decided to use a tall ladder and work as a team. With Sarah holding the ladder steady, Leo climbed up carefully while the others cheered him on from below. He could feel their support lifting him up, and it gave him confidence. Almost there, he called down, stretching his hand toward the kite. With a gentle tug, Leo freed the kite from the branches, and cheers erupted from his friends. He climbed down the ladder, feeling proud of what they had accomplished together.
See?
We listened to each other, and it worked. Everyone celebrated, and Leo felt a sense of joy in their teamwork. He realized that listening was not just about hearing words, it was also about working together and valuing everyone's ideas. This experience strengthened their friendship, reminding them of the power of collaboration. That evening, when Leo returned to Grandpa Eli's cottage, he shared the story of the kite rescue. "Grandpa, today I learned that listening can lead to teamwork and amazing solutions. Just like you said, every experience teaches us something valuable." Grandpa Eli smiled, pride shining in his eyes. "You are learning beautifully, Leo. Remember, wisdom is not only about what we know, but also about how we connect with others. Each lesson you learn brings you closer to understanding the world." As Leo lay in bed that night, he thought about all the lessons he had learned from his mistakes. He felt grateful for his friends, for the joy of listening, and for the wisdom that was slowly taking root in his heart. He knew there would be more challenges ahead, but he was ready to face them with an open mind and an eager spirit. And so, Leo's journey continued, filled with laughter, learning, and the magic of stories. Each day brought new adventures, and with every mistake, he grew a little wiser, ready to embrace the beautiful tapestry of life that was unfolding around him. Part 4. Sharing Wisdom. As summer settled over the village, the days grew longer, filled with warmth and laughter. Leo felt a surge of excitement with each passing day, eager to embrace new adventures and share his growing wisdom with those around him. With each lesson learned, he felt a responsibility to help others, just as Grandpa Eli had helped him. One sunny morning, Leo decided to visit the village school. He had heard that the school was planning a special day of sharing stories and knowledge, and he wanted to be a part of it. Leo believed that everyone, no matter their age, had something valuable to contribute. When he arrived at the school, he found the courtyard buzzing with energy. Children of all ages were gathered around, chatting and preparing for the day's activities. A colorful banner reading, "Sharing Wisdom Day," hung above them, fluttering gently in the breeze. "Hey, Leo," called out Mia, who was setting up a table with art supplies. "Are you ready to share some stories?" "Absolutely. I've been thinking about what I can share with everyone," Leo replied, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I want to talk about the importance of listening and learning from our experiences."
Mia smiled brightly.
"That sounds perfect. I'll be sharing my art and how it helps me express my feelings. Together, we can show everyone how different ways of sharing can connect us." As the day began, Leo and Mia took turns sharing their ideas with their classmates. Leo spoke passionately about the lessons he had learned from listening to others, how every conversation had taught him something new. He shared stories of the wise Mrs. Harper, the talented Mr. Jenkins, and how teamwork had helped him and his friends rescue the kite. The other children listened intently, their eyes wide with interest. "Listening is like opening a treasure chest," Leo explained. Every person has their own stories, and when we listen, we find gems of wisdom inside. After Leo spoke, Mia took center stage, displaying her drawings and explaining the emotions behind each piece. "Art is a way of sharing my heart," she said, holding up a vibrant painting of a sunlit forest. "When I draw, I express my feelings, and I hope it inspires others to share theirs too." The courtyard buzzed with excitement as the children shared their own stories and talents. Some recited poems, while others showcased their skills in music, dance, and even magic tricks. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and joy as everyone celebrated the beauty of sharing and connecting. After the performances, Leo felt a wave of happiness. He approached a group of younger children who looked shy and unsure. "Hey there, would you like to share something with us?" Leo asked, kneeling down to their level. The little ones exchanged glances, hesitant at first. But Leo smiled warmly, encouraging them. "I know you all have stories or talents that are just waiting to be shared. I was shy too, but I learned that sharing makes us feel connected." With Leo's gentle encouragement, the children began to open up. One little girl named Lila stepped forward, clutching a small stuffed bear. "I have a story about my bear. His name is Mr. Cuddles, and he goes on adventures with me every night." As Lila spoke, her eyes lit up with excitement. She described how Mr. Cuddles had once saved her from a monster under her bed, and the other children listened with wide eyes, captivated by her imaginative tale. Leo watched with joy as Lila's confidence grew. Her story inspired the others, and soon, more children joined in, sharing their own stories of adventure and imagination. It was a beautiful moment of connection, and Leo felt a warm glow in his heart. Later that afternoon, as the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the village, Leo and his friends gathered to reflect on the day. "Today was amazing,"
Mia exclaimed.
"I loved how everyone came together to share their stories." Leo nodded, feeling proud. "It just shows that we all have something special to offer. When we share what we know, we can help each other grow." As they walked home, Leo thought about how important it was to share knowledge and wisdom. He remembered how Grandpa Eli had shared his own stories with him, guiding him through his journey. Leo knew he wanted to continue this cycle of sharing, helping others learn and grow just as he had. The next day, Leo had an idea. He wanted to create a storytelling club for the village children, a safe space where everyone could come together to share their stories, listen to one another, and learn from each other. He rushed to Grandpa Eli's cottage, bursting with excitement. "Grandpa, I have an idea," Leo exclaimed, his face flushed with enthusiasm. "What if we started a storytelling club? We can invite all the children in the village to come together and share their stories and experiences." Grandpa Eli chuckled, his eyes twinkling with pride. "That's a wonderful idea, Leo. A storytelling club will help foster connections and encourage everyone to express themselves." Leo's heart swelled with joy. He couldn't wait to get started. He quickly gathered his friends, Mia, Jake, and Sarah, to share his idea. "Let's meet at the big oak tree in the village square tomorrow after school. We can invite everyone to join us and share their stories." The friends eagerly agreed, and they began spreading the word throughout the village. The excitement grew, and the next day, a small crowd gathered around the big oak tree, buzzing with anticipation. Leo stood in front of the group, his heart racing. "Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you here. Today marks the first meeting of our storytelling club. We want to create a space where we can all share our stories, listen to one another, and learn together." The crowd cheered, and Leo felt a wave of encouragement wash over him. "To start, I'd like to share a story about a wise old turtle I met on my journey. He taught me the value of patience and taking time to reflect." As Leo began his story, he could see the captivated faces of his friends and the other children. He described the turtle's slow and steady approach to life, how he took the time to observe the world around him and learn from every experience. After Leo finished his tale, the children applauded, eager to share their own stories. One by one, they took turns speaking, each story filled with laughter, imagination, and lessons learned. The oak tree became a haven of connection and creativity, echoing with the sounds of their voices. With each meeting, the storytelling club grew stronger. They shared tales of adventure, lessons from mistakes, and even stories of kindness and courage. Leo felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that they were all learning and growing together. As the weeks passed, Leo noticed something wonderful. The children began to listen more attentively to one another, valuing each story as a unique contribution. They celebrated each other's creativity and ideas, forming a bond that made the village feel even more like home. One day, during a club meeting, Mia stood up and said, "I think we should have a special storytelling night. We can invite our families and friends to join us and celebrate our stories." The idea excited everyone, and they quickly got to work planning the event. They decorated the oak tree with colorful lanterns and created a cozy space for everyone to sit and enjoy the stories. When the special night arrived, the air was filled with anticipation. Families gathered around the oak tree, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns. Leo and his friends welcomed everyone with warm smiles, ready to share the magic of their storytelling. Leo began the evening, recounting some of his favorite stories from the club, highlighting the lessons learned and the connections made. The audience listened with rapt attention, laughter, and applause filling the air as each child took their turn sharing their stories. As the night went on, Leo felt a sense of pride in what they had created together. The storytelling night was a celebration of knowledge, creativity, and friendship, a reminder that every voice mattered and every story was worth sharing. As the last story was told and the night began to wind down, Leo looked around at the smiling faces of his friends and their families. Thank you all for being here tonight and for sharing your stories with us. Remember, the more we share, the more we learn and grow together. With that, the evening ended on a high note, and Leo felt a warmth in his heart that he knew would last forever. He had discovered the beauty of sharing wisdom, realizing that when we come together to listen and learn from one another, we create a world filled with kindness and understanding. As he lay in bed that night, Leo reflected on the day's events, feeling grateful for the friendships he had forged and the wisdom he had gained. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, a journey filled with stories, lessons, and the joy of sharing. And so, Leo continued his adventure, eager to learn, share, and grow, one story at a time. With each new day, he looked forward to the wisdom he would uncover and the connections he would nurture, knowing that in the world of stories, there was always something magical waiting to be discovered. Part 5. Facing Challenges. As autumn approached, the village transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors. Reds, oranges, and yellows danced on the trees, creating a breathtaking sight. Leo felt a sense of adventure in the air, but he also knew that with every season comes new challenges. He was eager to embrace whatever came next, ready to grow even wiser. One day, while Leo was at the storytelling club, he noticed that Mia looked a bit down. Her usual bright smile was replaced with a furrowed brow. Leo approached her, concern filling his heart. "Mia, is everything okay?" Leo asked gently. Mia sighed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been struggling with my art lately. I want to create something beautiful for the upcoming village art fair, but I just can't seem to find the right inspiration. It's really frustrating." Leo understood how important this was to her. "Maybe we can find inspiration together. We could go on a nature walk and see what sparks your creativity." Mia's eyes brightened slightly at the suggestion. "That sounds like a great idea. I would love that." The next morning, Leo and Mia set out on their adventure. The sun shone brightly, and the air was crisp and refreshing. As they walked through the forest, Leo encouraged Mia to notice the little things around her. The way the leaves crunched under their feet, the sounds of birds chirping, and the sunlight filtering through the branches. "Mia, look at that tree," Leo exclaimed, pointing to a particularly gnarled oak. "It looks like it has so many stories to tell. Maybe you could draw it." Mia smiled, feeling a spark of excitement as she looked at the tree. "You're right. There's so much character in it. I think I'll sketch it." As Mia set to work, Leo sat quietly beside her, enjoying the peacefulness of the moment. He admired her concentration as she carefully captured the essence of the tree on paper. The more she drew, the more her confidence seemed to grow.
See?
"You're doing great," Leo encouraged her. "Just remember to listen to your heart while you create." Mia looked up from her sketch, her eyes sparkling with newfound inspiration. "Thank you, Leo. I needed this break to clear my mind. It's funny how sometimes stepping away can help." As they continued their walk, they stumbled upon a sparkling stream, its waters dancing over smooth stones. "What if we sit here for a while?" Leo suggested, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "We could see if any frogs want to tell us their stories." Mia laughed, her spirit lifting even more. They settled on the grassy bank, giggling as they listened to the cheerful croaks of the frogs, imagining the wild tales they might tell if they could speak. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the forest, Mia felt revitalized. "This was exactly what I needed. I can't wait to show you what I create for the art fair." When they returned to the village, Mia wasted no time in getting to work on her piece. Leo visited often, offering support and encouragement as she painted. Slowly but surely, the colors on her canvas came to life, each stroke reflecting the joy and inspiration she had found on their adventure. However, as the art fair approached, a fierce storm swept through the village, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. The skies turned dark, and the once vibrant landscape became a gloomy blur. Leo watched as the storm wreaked havoc, knocking over fences and uprooting trees. "Mia," he called, rushing to her house. "Are you okay?" Mia opened the door, her face pale with worry. "My painting. It's in the backyard drying. I'm so scared it might get ruined." Without a moment's hesitation, Leo took Mia's hand. "Let's go save it." Together, they dashed through the pouring rain, their hearts racing as they reached the backyard. Mia's painting stood precariously on an easel, the wind threatening to send it tumbling. Leo quickly grabbed the painting and held it close to his chest. "It's okay, I've got it," Leo shouted over the roar of the wind. But as they turned to head back inside, a sudden gust blew, causing a tree branch to snap and fall toward them. Leo pushed Mia aside just in time, but he felt the branch hit his shoulder, knocking him to the ground. "Mia, are you okay?" he called out, wincing in pain as he struggled to stand. Mia rushed to his side, her eyes wide with concern.
Leo.
"You're hurt." "It's just a scratch," Leo reassured her, although he could feel the sting of pain. "Let's get inside before anything else happens." They hurried back into the safety of the house, the storm still raging outside. Once inside, Mia inspected Leo's shoulder, her hand shaking. "You shouldn't have pushed me out of the way. What if you got seriously hurt?" Leo smiled softly, trying to ease her worry.
"I've fine."
"But your painting is safe, and that's what matters right now." Mia looked at the painting, her heart swelling with gratitude. "You really are brave, Leo. Thank you for saving it." As the storm raged on, they sat together, sipping warm cocoa and watching the rain pour down outside. Leo realized how important it was to support each other through tough times. He thought about the lessons he had learned from listening to his grandfather and the value of courage in the face of challenges. The next day, as the storm subsided and the sun peeked through the clouds, Leo and Mia stepped outside. The world was transformed, the air was fresh, and the landscape glistened with droplets of rain. They wandered through the village, admiring the beauty of nature and how it seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. "Let's finish your painting," Leo suggested, eager to see Mia's creation come to life. Together, they worked side by side, blending colors and adding details. Mia poured her heart into the piece, and Leo was there to cheer her on, reminding her to listen to her instincts. When the painting was finally complete, it was a breathtaking portrayal of the oak tree they had discovered, surrounded by dancing leaves and playful frogs. It captured not only the beauty of nature, but also the resilience of friendship. "I'm so proud of you, Mia," Leo exclaimed, admiring the finished work. "This is going to be a hit at the art fair." Mia beamed, her confidence renewed. "I couldn't have done it without your help. You taught me that sometimes it's okay to face challenges head-on, as long as we have friends by our side." As the day of the art fair arrived, the village buzzed with excitement. Colorful stalls lined the streets, filled with paintings, crafts, and delicious treats. Leo and Mia set up their booth, proudly displaying her painting, which drew attention from passers-by. "Look at that beautiful artwork," an old man remarked, pointing to Mia's piece. "It captures the essence of the village so well." Mia blushed with pride, feeling a warmth in her heart. "Thank you," she called back, her smile wide. As the day continued, children gathered around, sharing stories of their own experiences and challenges. Leo listened attentively, offering encouragement and sharing his own lessons learned along the way. It was a beautiful reminder that everyone faces obstacles, but with resilience and support, they can overcome them. Later in the day, as the sun began to set, the village announced the winners of the art fair. Mia held her breath, her heart racing. "What if I don't win?" she whispered nervously. Leo squeezed her hand, reassuring her. "No matter what happens, you've already won by creating something beautiful. Just remember to listen to your heart." The village leader stepped up to announce the winners. And the award for best artwork goes to Mia for her stunning painting of the oak tree. Mia gasped, her eyes widening in disbelief. "I won? Really?" Cheers erupted from the crowd as Mia stepped forward, a huge smile lighting up her face. Leo felt a rush of joy for her. He knew she had poured her heart into that painting, and it had truly captured the spirit of their village. As Mia accepted her award, Leo watched with pride, knowing that she had faced her challenges with courage and creativity. "You did it, Mia," he shouted, clapping his hands. When the celebration ended, Leo and Mia walked home together under the starlit sky. "Thank you for believing in me, Leo. I couldn't have done it without you by my side," Mia said, her voice filled with gratitude. Leo smiled back at her, feeling warmth in his heart. "You were the one who created that beautiful painting. You listened to your heart and found inspiration in the world around you." As they parted ways, Leo reflected on the day and the challenges they had faced together. He felt grateful for the lessons learned about resilience, courage, and the importance of supporting one another. He knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would always find the strength to overcome them, especially with friends like Mia by his side. And so, Leo continued his journey, eager to face whatever new challenges came his way, filled with the knowledge that with a brave heart and the support of friends, anything was possible. With every experience, he grew a little wiser, learning to embrace both the joys and struggles of life as he explored the world around him. Part 6. Walking in someone else's shoes. With winter's arrival, the village transformed into a wonderland of soft, glistening snowflakes that blanketed the ground. Each morning, the air was crisp, filled with the sweet scent of pine and the sounds of children laughing as they built snowmen and made snow angels. Leo loved the season. It was a time of joy and wonder, but also a time for reflection. As the first snowfall began to settle in, Leo noticed that some of his friends seemed a bit more subdued. Mia was often quiet, her vibrant spirit dimmed. Jake, usually so cheerful, wore a worried expression. Curious about what was going on, Leo decided to reach out to them. "Mia, Jake, what's wrong?" Leo asked one snowy afternoon as they sat together on a bench in the village square, watching the snow fall. Mia sighed, looking down at her mittens. "I guess I've been feeling a bit lonely. Everyone is so busy with holiday preparations, and I miss our storytelling club. It's hard to feel festive when you're not part of the fun." Jake nodded, his eyes downcast. "Yeah, my family has been stressed about money lately. I'm worried we won't have a proper celebration this year." Leo's heart ached for his friends. He remembered the warmth of community during the holidays and how important it was to support one another. "Why don't we plan a special event? We could bring everyone together for a storytelling night. It'll remind everyone of the joy we share, even in tough times." Mia's eyes sparkled with hope. "That's a wonderful idea, Leo. It could help lift everyone's spirits." Jake smiled for the first time. "I love that. We can make it a cozy night with hot cocoa and cookies." The trio wasted no time in getting to work. They spent the next few days preparing for the event, spreading the word around the village. "Join us for a magical evening of stories, laughter, and warmth," they announced to everyone they met. As the evening approached, the air filled with excitement and a hint of nervousness. Leo felt the weight of their plans resting on his shoulders, but he knew that the joy of connection would shine through. The village square was decorated with twinkling lights and a big, inviting bonfire that crackled cheerfully, casting a warm glow over the gathering. On the night of the event, villagers of all ages came together, bringing their favorite blankets, snacks, and, of course, their stories. Leo looked around, seeing familiar faces, friends, neighbors, and even those who he hadn't spoken to in a while. Everyone seemed ready to share and listen, creating an atmosphere of togetherness. Mia and Jake took turns serving hot cocoa, while Leo welcomed everyone to the gathering. "Thank you all for being here tonight. This is a special time for us to come together, share our stories, and remember that we're never alone, even in tough times." As the first storyteller stepped forward, a hush fell over the crowd. An elderly woman named Mrs. Thompson began sharing a heartwarming tale of her childhood, describing the joy of snowball fights and building snow forts with her friends. Her voice wove a tapestry of nostalgia, drawing everyone into her memories. After her story, Leo encouraged others to share as well. One by one, people stepped forward, sharing tales of adventure, lessons learned, and even stories of kindness they had witnessed. Laughter filled the air, and Leo could see the faces of his friends light up with happiness. Then it was Mia's turn. She stood, clutching her art supplies, and shared her own story of creativity and the struggles she had faced in finding inspiration. "Sometimes it's easy to feel lost, especially during the holidays when everything feels so perfect," she said. "But I learned that sharing our struggles can help us find beauty in our imperfections." The crowd responded with warmth, applauding her bravery. Leo watched as Mia's confidence grew, feeling proud of her courage to share her heart. It reminded him of the importance of empathy, how understanding one another's experiences could foster deeper connections. As the night went on, Leo saw Jake becoming restless. He whispered to him, "Is everything okay?" Jake sighed, looking down at his feet. "I wish I could share something, but I don't have a story. I feel like everyone else has something to say, and I don't want to bring the mood down." "Your voice matters, Jake," Leo replied, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Remember, we're here to support each other. Why not share what you've been feeling? It might help someone else who's going through the same thing." Taking a deep breath, Jake nodded slowly. Okay, I'll give it a try. When it was his turn, Jake stood up, his heart racing. I don't have a fancy story like everyone else, but I want to share something real. My family is going through a tough time right
Now.
We might not have a big celebration this year, and it makes me feel sad. But I've learned that it's okay to feel that way, and it's important to talk about it. A hush fell over the crowd, and Leo held his breath, hoping for a warm response. After a moment, a soft voice emerged from the back of the crowd. Thank you for sharing that, Jake, said Mrs. Thompson. We've all faced challenges, and it's important to know that we're not alone. This is a place where we can support each other. As Jake looked around, he saw nods of understanding from his neighbors. Others began sharing their own stories of hardship and perseverance, creating a beautiful web of empathy that enveloped the gathering. Leo felt a swell of pride in his heart. The storytelling night had become more than just sharing tales. It was a testament to the strength of community and the importance of understanding one another. He realized that through empathy, they could turn their struggles into shared experiences, forging stronger bonds that would last long after the snow melted. As the evening drew to a close, Leo stepped forward once more, his heart full. Thank you all for sharing your stories tonight. Each one of you has reminded us that we're all part of this beautiful tapestry of life. When we listen and support each other, we create a world filled with compassion. As the villagers exchanged hugs and goodbyes, Leo noticed Mia and Jake standing together, their faces radiant with joy. We did it, Leo, Mia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. Tonight was magical. Jake grinned, feeling lighter than he had in days. Yeah, it felt good to share how I've been feeling. I didn't realize how much I needed that. With a warm glow in his heart, Leo nodded. I think we all learned something special tonight, how empathy and understanding can heal our hearts and connect us in ways we never imagined. The following days brought a sense of warmth to the village as the connections formed during the storytelling night deepened. Leo noticed more smiles in the streets, more laughter echoing through the village square. Neighbors reached out to one another, sharing their experiences and offering support. One chilly afternoon, as Leo wandered through the village, he spotted Mrs. Thompson sitting alone on a bench, her hands wrapped around a cup of steaming tea. He approached her, concerned. Mrs. Thompson, are you okay? You seem a bit lonely. She looked up, a gentle smile gracing her lips. Oh, Leo, thank you for asking. I was just reflecting on the stories we shared the other night. It warms my heart to see everyone coming together. Is there anything I can do to help? Leo offered, his heart open to her needs. You're so kind, dear, Mrs. Thompson replied, her eyes glimmering with appreciation. I'd love some company if you have the time. Leo sat beside her, enjoying the comfort of their conversation. They shared stories of their lives. Mrs. Thompson reminisced about her childhood and the lessons she had learned along the way. As Leo listened, he felt a deep sense of connection, realizing that everyone has a story worth telling. As winter continued, Leo decided to make it a regular tradition to visit Mrs. Thompson, checking in on her and sharing stories. Each visit brought them closer together, and he learned more about her life experiences and the wisdom she had gained over the years. One afternoon, as they sat by the fireplace, Mrs. Thompson shared a poignant story from her youth about overcoming loss. Life can be challenging, Leo, but I've learned that it's important to embrace every moment, even the painful ones. Those experiences shape who we are and allow us to connect with others. Leo listened intently, realizing the depth of empathy in her words. He thought about how sharing stories not only built connections but also allowed others to heal. Feeling inspired, Leo invited his friends to join him for a special afternoon with Mrs. Thompson. They all gathered around the fireplace, eager to hear her stories. Mia brought her art supplies, planning to create drawings inspired by the tales she would hear. As Mrs. Thompson began to speak, Leo watched his friend's eyes light up with curiosity. Long ago, I faced a great challenge, she started. I lost someone dear to me, and it felt as if my world had turned dark. But through that pain, I found strength in the support of my friends and family. Her story resonated deeply with everyone, and as she spoke, Leo saw tears in Mia's eyes. Thank you for sharing that, she said softly. It reminds me that even in tough times, we have each other to lean on. Inspired by the moment, Jake decided to share his own story of loss, and soon they were all opening up, creating a safe space for each other. They laughed, cried, and shared their thoughts, finding solace in their shared experiences. By the time the sun set, the warmth of friendship filled the room, and Leo felt grateful for the connections they had fostered. He realized how powerful empathy could be, transforming pain into understanding and support. As winter began to fade into spring, Leo continued to cultivate these connections. He organized regular storytelling gatherings, encouraging villagers to share their experiences. The bond among the community grew stronger, and everyone felt more connected than ever. One sunny afternoon, as the first flowers began to bloom, Leo stood at the village square, looking at the colorful banners they had created to celebrate their newfound unity. He felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together, transforming their struggles into shared stories of hope and resilience. As he spoke to the crowd, Leo couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. Thank you all for being here today. Through our stories, we've discovered the beauty of empathy and the importance of understanding one another. Let's continue to support each other, no matter what life throws our way. The villagers cheered, and Leo felt a warmth spreading through him. He had learned that by walking in someone else's shoes, they could create a world filled with compassion, laughter, and love. And so, as the seasons changed, Leo's journey continued, filled with laughter, connection, and the magic of storytelling. With every shared experience, he grew wiser, carrying the lessons of empathy in his heart as he explored the beauty of life and the power of friendship. Part 7. Embracing Change. As spring arrived, the village blossomed into a riot of colors. Flowers burst forth in vibrant hues, and the trees regained their lush greenery, dancing gently in the warm breeze. Leo felt invigorated by the beauty around him, his spirits soaring like the birds that flitted joyfully overhead. The warmth of the sun and the sweet scent of blooming flowers filled him with a sense of possibility. However, amidst this enchanting scenery, Leo sensed that change was in the air. The conversations around him shifted from sharing stories to discussions about future plans. His friends began to talk about their dreams and aspirations. Mia, inspired by the stories she had heard, spoke about her desire to create a mural that depicted the village's rich history. Jake, too, shared his goal of becoming a musician, eager to write songs that conveyed the emotions he had experienced during their storytelling nights. As they talked excitedly about their futures, Leo felt a flutter of anxiety in his chest. What were his dreams? He had always been a good storyteller and a supportive friend, but what did he want to do with his life? The questions swirled in his mind like the petals that danced in the spring breeze, leaving him feeling both inspired and uncertain. One afternoon, as he strolled through the village, Leo found himself drawn to the old oak tree by the riverbank. It had always been a special place for him, a spot where he could think and find
peace.
He sat down, leaning against its sturdy trunk, and closed his eyes, allowing the sounds of nature to envelop him. In the gentle rustle of the leaves, he began to reflect. What do I want to do? He pondered aloud. What makes my heart sing? Suddenly, he remembered the stories his grandfather used to tell him about adventure and courage. Those tales always ignited a spark within him. Inspired by these memories, Leo stood up and decided he needed to explore. Maybe if he ventured out into the world, he would discover his passions and dreams. That weekend, Leo gathered his friends and proposed a mini adventure. Let's explore the forest beyond the village. There's a whole world out there waiting for us, he exclaimed, his eyes shining with excitement. We might discover something new about ourselves. Mia and Jake exchanged enthusiastic glances. "Count me in," Mia declared. "I want to see if there are any beautiful spots where I can gather inspiration for my mural." "Me too," Jake chimed in. "Who knows? I might find some melodies in nature." The trio packed their bags with snacks, art supplies, and a guitar, eager to embark on their journey. As they set off, laughter and excitement filled the air, echoing through the trees as they ventured deeper into the forest. Leo felt a sense of exhilaration, as if they were stepping into a grand adventure. As they walked, the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves, creating a symphony of nature. They sang songs, shared stories, and even attempted to make up silly rhymes about their surroundings. After a while, they stumbled upon a sparkling stream that wound its way through the forest. The water shimmered like diamonds in the sunlight, and Leo felt drawn to it. "Let's take a break here," he suggested, plopping down on the soft grass. As they rested, Mia pulled out her sketchbook, inspired by the beauty surrounding them. "This place is perfect for my mural," she mused, sketching the landscape and the flowing water. Jake, too, found inspiration. He strummed his guitar softly, creating a melody that mingled with the sound of the flowing water. Leo closed his eyes, allowing the music to wash over him, feeling the notes seep into his heart. But as the day wore on, Leo felt a strange sense of longing. He watched his friends immersed in their passions, and a wave of self-doubt washed over him. "What about me?" he wondered. "What is my passion? What do I want to create?" Feeling restless, Leo stood up and began wandering along the edge of the stream. He spotted a series of smooth, flat stones that peeked out from the water. An idea sparked in his mind, and he decided to test his courage. "Hey, everyone, watch this," he called out, taking a deep breath. He leaped from one stone to another, laughing as he balanced precariously. His heart raced, but it felt exhilarating. He was taking a risk, and it filled him with a sense of adventure. "Leo, be careful," Mia exclaimed, her voice laced with concern. But Leo was determined. He continued to leap from stone to stone, each jump fueling his confidence. He felt free and alive, the worries of the world fading away with each hop. However, just as he reached the last stone, he lost his balance and splashed into the cool water with a surprising splash. Laughter erupted from his friends as he emerged, dripping wet but grinning from ear to ear. "Well, that was unexpected," Leo chuckled, shaking the water from his hair. "But it felt amazing to take that leap, literally."
"See?
"You're already embracing change and trying new things," Jake teased, still giggling. "That was brave, Leo," Mia added, her eyes sparkling with admiration. "You took a risk, and it turned into a fun moment." Feeling a renewed sense of courage, Leo realized that sometimes it's the little risks that lead to the greatest joy. It didn't have to be about discovering a grand passion. It could simply be about embracing life's adventures. He returned to his friends, excitement bubbling within him. "Maybe we can all try something new together." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Leo suggested they create something together. "Let's make a group project. We could each contribute a piece of art or music inspired by today." Mia's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. "That's a wonderful idea. I'll sketch the stream, and we can write a song about our adventure." Jake nodded eagerly. "And I can play the guitar while we sing together." As they worked on their collaborative creation, Leo felt a sense of purpose. They shared ideas, bouncing creativity off one another, building something unique that combined their individual passions. As they laughed and created, Leo realized that the journey was just as important as the destination. By the time they finished, they had composed a beautiful song that celebrated their friendship and the beauty of their surroundings. They decided to perform it for their village during the upcoming spring festival. It would be a way to share their journey and the lessons they had learned about embracing change and creativity. With each passing day, Leo felt more at ease with his own journey. He discovered that by embracing change and stepping outside his comfort zone, he could cultivate his passions and encourage others to do the same. He continued to gather with his friends regularly, nurturing their creative spirits and celebrating their individuality. As the spring festival approached, Leo and his friends rehearsed their song, filled with excitement and nervous anticipation. They imagined performing it in front of the village, sharing their newfound confidence and creativity. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. The village square buzzed with energy, adorned with colorful banners, blooming flowers, and laughter that filled the air. Leo's heart raced as he prepared to take the stage with his friends. As they stood before the villagers, Leo glanced at Mia and Jake, who smiled back at him, their eyes shining with excitement. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward and addressed the crowd. "Thank you all for being here today. We've been on a little adventure, and we'd like to share what we've created together." With that, they began to play their song, the melody flowing through the crowd like a gentle breeze. Leo's voice filled the air, joined by Mia's harmonious notes and Jake's rhythmic guitar strumming. As they sang about friendship, adventure, and embracing change, the villagers swayed along, caught up in the magic of the moment. When they finished, the crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing around the square. Leo felt a warmth swell in his chest, knowing that they had created something beautiful together. In that moment, he understood the power of stepping outside his comfort zone, embracing change, and finding joy in creativity. As the festival continued, Leo felt grateful for the journey he had shared with his friends and the lessons he had learned about courage and growth. He realized that life would always bring change, but with the support of those he loved, he could face whatever came his way. And so, as the sun set on the festival, Leo looked around at the smiling faces of his friends and neighbors. He knew that together, they would continue to embrace change, find joy in every moment, and create memories that would last a lifetime. Part 8. The Circle of Life. As summer embraced the village with its warm, golden light, Leo found himself filled with a profound sense of gratitude and hope. The vibrant energy of the season mirrored the joy that radiated from the friendships he had cultivated over the past months. With every gathering, every story shared, and every laugh echoed, Leo felt a deeper connection not only with his friends, but with the entire village. The success of their performance at the Spring Festival had ignited a spark of creativity within the community. Inspired by Leo and his friends, more villagers began to share their talents, whether it was painting, dancing, or storytelling. The village transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors, sounds, and emotions as everyone embraced the beauty of expressing themselves. One sunny afternoon, Leo decided to host a gathering at his home. He wanted to celebrate the creativity that had blossomed in their village and foster an environment where everyone felt safe to share their passions. He invited Mia, Jake, and other friends, encouraging them to bring along anyone who wanted to join in. As the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of orange and pink, the backyard filled with laughter and chatter. The smell of freshly baked treats wafted through the air, mingling with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Leo stood at the center of it all, feeling a wave of happiness wash over him. "Thank you all for coming," he said, his voice warm with excitement. "Tonight, let's celebrate our creativity. Share your stories, your songs, your art, whatever brings you joy." Mia stepped forward, her sketchbook in hand. "I'd like to share something I've been working on," she announced, a hint of nervousness in her voice. "It's a mural that represents our village, the friendships we've formed, and the journeys we've taken together." As Mia unveiled her sketch, the group gasped in delight. The mural depicted a vibrant scene of the village square, filled with people engaged in different activities, dancing, painting, and telling stories. The colors danced across the page, bursting with life and joy. "I want to paint this on the wall of the village center," she explained, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "It'll be a reminder of our unity and creativity." The group erupted into applause, encouraging her to bring her vision to life. Leo felt a rush of pride for his friend, knowing that her mural would serve as a beautiful symbol of their shared journey. Next, Jake took center stage, guitar in hand. "I've been working on a new song," he said, his voice filled with excitement. "It's about friendship and the adventures we've shared." As he strummed the first chords, the gathering fell silent, captivated by the melody. Jake's voice resonated through the air, capturing the essence of their experiences, the laughter, the challenges, and the warmth of their connections. Leo couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with emotion as he listened, recognizing how much they had grown together. The evening continued with stories shared, laughter ringing out, and creativity blossoming like the flowers in the garden. Each person contributed something unique, whether it was a poem, a dance, or a heartfelt tale. Leo marveled at the diversity of talents present, feeling grateful for the safe space they had created together. As the stars began to twinkle above, Leo called everyone's attention. "Thank you for sharing your gifts tonight. Each of you has contributed to the magic of our village, and I couldn't be more grateful to be on this journey with all of you." Just then, a soft breeze rustled through the trees, and Leo looked around, feeling a profound sense of connection to the moment. It reminded him of the importance of cherishing the bonds they had formed through storytelling, creativity, and shared experiences. Later that night, as the gathering began to wind down, Leo found a quiet moment to reflect. He stood in the garden, gazing up at the stars that twinkled like diamonds against the deep blue sky. Memories of his journey flooded his mind, the lessons learned, the friendships formed, and the moments of vulnerability that had brought them closer. In that stillness, Leo realized something profound. Life was a series of stories, each person contributing their own chapter, filled with unique experiences, struggles, and triumphs. He understood that every interaction was an opportunity to learn and grow, both as an individual and as a community. With newfound clarity, Leo made a promise to himself. He would continue to nurture these connections, to share stories, and to inspire others to embrace their creativity. He would create a storytelling circle that would meet regularly, inviting everyone in the village to come together and share their experiences. The next day, Leo took a step toward his promise. He organized the first official storytelling circle, posting colorful flyers throughout the village. Excitement buzzed through the air as villagers gathered in the village square, ready to share their tales. As Leo opened the circle, he welcomed each person with warmth. "Thank you all for being here. We're here to listen, to share, and to celebrate our stories. Remember, every story matters, and together, we can create a beautiful tapestry of our lives." One by one, villagers took turns sharing their tales. Some spoke of their struggles, while others celebrated their joys. Laughter and tears mingled in the air as they connected over shared experiences. Leo felt the magic of storytelling envelop them, weaving a strong bond among the participants. After several weeks of storytelling circles, the village became a vibrant hub of creativity and connection. Neighbors who had once barely spoken became friends, and the community grew stronger. Leo's heart swelled with pride, knowing that he had played a part in fostering this sense of unity. As summer wore on, Leo began to notice the changes in himself. He felt more confident, more courageous, and more connected to the world around him. He understood that life's journey was not just about personal growth, but also about lifting others and sharing experiences that could inspire and heal. One evening, as he walked through the village, Leo overheard two children sharing stories with laughter. He smiled, realizing that the ripple effect of their gatherings had reached even the youngest members of the community. They were beginning to understand the power of storytelling and the beauty of empathy. As the seasons began to shift once again, Leo prepared for the annual Harvest Festival, a celebration of gratitude for the bounty the village had received. He knew this year would be different. The community would come together not only to celebrate, but also to reflect on the stories that had shaped them. On the day of the festival, The village square burst into life with colorful decorations, laughter, and the aroma of delicious food. As Leo walked through the festivities, he felt a sense of belonging that warmed his heart. He was surrounded by friends, neighbors, and the vibrant energy of a united community. When it was time for the storytelling segment of the festival, Leo took the stage, his heart racing with excitement. "Welcome, everyone," he called out, looking out at the sea of smiling faces. "Today, we gather not only to celebrate our harvest, but also to share our stories. Each story holds a lesson, a memory, and a piece of who we are." As he invited others to join him on stage, villagers shared tales of resilience, love, and the importance of community. They spoke of the challenges they had faced and the support they had found in one another. Leo felt tears of joy prick at his eyes as he listened, overwhelmed by the beauty of their collective journey. At the end of the festival, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the square, Leo looked around at the people he had come to love dearly. He realized that storytelling had transformed their lives, connecting them through shared experiences, laughter, and healing. In that moment, Leo understood that his journey had come full circle. The lessons he had learned about empathy, courage, and the power of connection would remain with him forever. He had discovered the magic of storytelling, not just as a way to share experiences, but as a means to bring people together, to heal wounds, and to celebrate the beauty of life. As the stars twinkled overhead, Leo felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He had learned to embrace change, to cherish friendships, and to see the world through the lens of compassion. With every story shared, he knew they were creating a legacy, a tapestry woven with threads of love, laughter, and hope. And so, as the seasons continued to change, Leo remained steadfast in his commitment to nurturing the bonds within his community. He became a beacon of light, encouraging others to share their stories, to embrace their creativity, and to celebrate the richness of life. Through the magic of storytelling, Leo understood that they could continue to weave a beautiful narrative together, a narrative filled with resilience, joy, and the enduring power of friendship.
Whispering echoes.